Angel Reese says, an Angel's dream. Of course, she's not going to miss Chicago because she hates her teammates. We all know that. We found that out last year when she drowned them all like baby kittens in a tote sack viciously when she drowned her teammates last year. And I'm sorry for the visual, but I'm just keeping it real. So trade summary per Annie Constable. Atlanta Dream get Angel Reese and a 2028 second round pick swap.
Atlanta thought landing Angel Reese would spark a merchandising gold rush, but instead, something strange happened. The shirts are sitting, the fans are furious, and the backlash is getting louder by the hour. What was supposed to be a superstar arrival has turned into a public rejection that nobody saw coming. Why are fans refusing to buy in? And what does this say about Reese's future with the Dream before she has even played a single game? There.
Angel Reese in the headlines, the main story in the headlines for the first time since she was following a certain somebody around doing the John Cena can't see me. It's taken 3 years, but finally, Angel, you have returned. Angel Reese traded from the Chicago Sky to the Atlanta Dream. And the reaction has been nothing short of hysterical.
The Atlanta Dream thought they were making a blockbuster move, but the internet reacted like somebody had just announced pineapple belongs on barbecue ribs. The moment Angel Reese landed in Atlanta, what should have been a triumphant jersey-selling celebration turned into a public relations food fight. Because instead of fans rushing to grab new Dream shirts, the reaction online became a bizarre parade of outrage, skepticism, and people loudly declaring they would not spend a single dollar supporting the move.
I get a 2027 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick. You gave up 2 first-round picks for Angel Reese? What? Okay. Okay. I guarantee you, some people will actually believe in their own little minds that Chicago got fleeced. Yeah. Oh.
That is what makes this story so fascinating, because on paper, none of this should be happening. Atlanta did not trade for an unproven rookie who still needs to figure out which basket is hers. They acquired one of the biggest names in women's basketball, a 2-time WNBA All-Star at just 23 years old, a player who has already become one of the most marketable stars in the league, and someone whose presence alone usually guarantees headlines, debate, and cameras following her every move.
I cannot believe ESPN pays for this type of analysis. Angel Reese is the biggest star in basketball? The same Angel Reese who just hosted a Barbie event in Miami last weekend where no one showed up. Angel Reese isn't even the biggest star in pretend basketball. She is getting outshined in a league where outside of Caitlin Clark, there are no stars. And you expect me to believe Angel Reese is the biggest star in basketball?
Reese arrived from the Chicago Sky with elite production, averaging over 14 points and nearly 13 rebounds per game in her first 2 seasons, after Chicago sent her to Atlanta in exchange for 2 future first-round picks in 2027 and 2028.
The fact of the matter is she got traded for almost nothing. The specifics of the trade were that she got traded for a first-round pick in 2027 and a first-round pick in 2028, along with a pick swap that Atlanta gets. So what does that mean? That means specifically that Angel Reese essentially got traded for probably the 12th, 13th, 14th, or maybe 15th pick in the WNBA draft.
Normally, that kind of acquisition sends merchandise sales into orbit. Normally, fans flood team stores like IT is concert presale day, and the website starts wheezing under pressure. Normally, the phrase new superstar joins a contender leads to packed arenas, sold-out jerseys, and front office executives grinning like lottery winners. Instead, Atlanta got something much stranger. They got backlash, not from rival fan bases alone, because rival fans are always ready to boot anything with enthusiasm and snacks, but from a loud chunk of basketball viewers who immediately declared the move was doomed before Reese had even unpacked a suitcase. And then came the most brutal part, fans bragging that they would not buy the merch. That is where the shirt sales crash narrative really caught fire, because jersey sales in sports are not just about fabric and stitching. They are emotional stock markets. They measure belief, they measure excitement, they measure whether fans see a player as the future or as an expensive argument waiting to happen. And Atlanta's case, too many people treated Reese's arrival less like a celebration and more like a suspicious package left on the porch. Some fans openly complained that the Dream had given up too much for her. Others argued that Atlanta already had a working formula and did not need a star who attracts controversy like lightning attracts tall metal poles.
Dream already selling the Angel Reese jerseys. They had a feeling they weren't going to be moving too fast, so you know what they did? They put them on sale. Oh, that's right, folks.
There were even reactions suggesting that Reese's polarizing reputation had become bigger than her basketball value, which is the sports equivalent of saying, "We know she scores, rebounds, and dominates. But have you considered that why do people on the internet get dramatic?" And dramatic they were. The backlash was fueled by something deeper than basketball strategy. Reese has become one of the most divisive athletes in modern women's sports. Nobody brings in Angel Reese expecting quiet. That is like adopting a peacock and being surprised when it refuses to blend into beige wallpaper. Atlanta brought her in precisely because she changes the energy of a franchise. She brings attention, ticket demand, television buzz, and the kind of star gravity that smaller market teams spend years begging the basketball gods to provide. Yet instead of immediate celebration, her arrival became a referendum.
At least we now know she is not a franchise player for any team. Oh, but you got some mad. Oh, if y'all franchise. Whoa, they're mad, boy. They are mad. I'm loving this. I am loving. Boy, Jeff, F you. Man, the crash out. Thank you for the crash out. Yeah. Never seen a franchise tank like this. Oh, this is wild. F Jeff, we free. I wonder how y'all gonna get in the seats now. Y'all wasn't selling out in Chicago with Angel Reese. What the hell are you talking about? How big is that place down there?
And over in Chicago, the mood was entirely different. If Atlanta's reaction sounded like nervous arguing in a crowded restaurant, Chicago's reaction sounded more like a long exhale after holding tension for months. The split between Reese and the Sky had been brewing beneath the surface for some time. Despite her individual brilliance, the franchise had struggled badly, missing the playoffs in both her seasons and finishing a miserable 10-34 last year. Reports around the league made it increasingly clear that the relationship had become strained. And when the trade finally happened, the Sky looked less like a devastated team losing a star and more like an organization quietly grateful to turn the page. That is what makes Chicago's side of this saga so revealing. Teams do not casually move to the time of saying, "We would rather wait for mystery boxes than keep opening this." And that decision only gave Reese critics more ammunition. To many doubters, Chicago letting her go felt like confirmation that something was wrong. If the Sky were willing to move on from a young superstar, skeptics argued, maybe Atlanta had just inherited a problem disguised as a headline. That sentiment spilled directly into fan purchasing behavior. When supporters distrust a move, merchandise becomes a symbolic protest. Refusing to buy a shirt is no longer about money. It becomes a vote, a statement, a digital-era picket sign made off empty shopping carts.
What in the hell is going on here? I know ESPN pays these people to polish the turd, but no amount of toxic ass gas will hypnotize people to the point that they believe Angel Reese is the biggest star in basketball. Earlier this afternoon, the Chicago Bravado traded Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dreamers. Now, as you can see, the Dreamers are already dreaming that they landed a major star.
Fans began posting that they would not wear Reese's name on Atlanta colors. Some said the fit felt unnatural. Others insisted she had not earned loyalty in that city yet. A few simply declared they did not want her on the team at all, which is a brutally honest way of saying, please return this superstar to sender. And yet here is the part that makes this whole backlash so potentially short-lived. Sports fans are gloriously inconsistent. The same fan who says in April that they will never buy a jersey is often the exact same person screaming in July because that the player just dropped 28 points and 16 rebounds in a nationally televised revenge game. The Dream are betting precisely on that outcome. They are betting that talent overwhelms narrative, that production silences resentment, and that once Reese starts stacking double-doubles in Atlanta red and blue, the anti-merchandise rebellion will look as outdated as a flip phone in a Tesla showroom. And make no Atlanta believes this move can transform them. The Dream front office called Reese a perfect fit for their vision, praising her competitiveness and impact, and that confidence reflects how highly the organization values her long-term role.
The Angel Reese reaction of her getting the trade is just disingenuous. First of all, Stephen A. Smith, you don't watch the WNBA, you're a joke. Oh, it's a great trade for her. Bro, you don't even know what she does, man. I'm telling you, Stephen A. Smith is a BS artist. Monica McNutt is a joke. This lady said that Chicago Sky wasn't ready for her star power and her vocals. Give me a break. Stop it. Throwing your teams under the bus is not having big vocals or having star power. And if she had star power, they would have kept her on the team.
Reese is not there to be a side attraction. She is there to become a pillar of Atlanta's championship ambition. That is why the shirt sale storyline matters beyond the comedy of angry comments and dramatic online vows. Because if the merch stalls now, it reflects hesitation, not destiny. It reflects a fan base unsure whether this bold gamble will become a masterpiece or a spectacularly televised mess. And honestly, that uncertainty is exactly what makes this story irresistible. Angel Reese has walked into Atlanta carrying one of the strangest burdens in sports, being both enormously valuable and endlessly controversial, and acquired a star player. They have acquired a live experiment. For now, Atlanta sits in that uncomfortable middle space, where the headlines are loud, the opinions are louder, and the cash registers are apparently quieter than expected. And somewhere in Chicago, the Sky is watching all this unfold with a calm expression of people who already packed the boxes and changed the locks and are simply waiting to see whether the neighbors enjoy the new tenant. All of these dramatic emotional U-turns, where outrage lasts exactly until the first winning streak.
Angel Reese about to be so damn distracted in Atlanta. All these people that just want her to come there to turn up and do all of this and all. You thought Chicago was bad, making her concentrate, doing all the off the court shit instead of being in it. All she gonna do is be out in the ATL turning up with all these people, these terrible celebrities she gonna be having on her podcast, doing 1,000 episodes here and there with all these goofies doing ratchet turn up activity. Man, she ain't about to be concentrating on hoop.
What makes the situation even more explosive is that Angel Reese is not walking into a neutral basketball environment in Atlanta. She is entering a franchise where expectations are suddenly enormous, patience is dangerously thin, and every single rebound she grabs will be measured against the storm that followed her arrival. The Atlanta Dream did not simply bring in a talented forward, they brought in a lightning rod. And now the entire city is standing outside in the rain, pretending not to notice the thunder. Inside the organization, the gamble is obvious. Atlanta believes that controversy fades when the scoreboard starts smiling. If Reese can turn the Dream into a legitimate title contender, the same fans currently refusing before the final buzzer sounds. If the Dream lose 3 games in a row, social media will turn into a digital town square full of amateur general managers demanding explanations. That is the curse of being a superstar with a polarizing reputation. Ordinary struggles are never treated as ordinary. A missed layup becomes a headline. A bad quarter becomes a referendum on your entire career. And that pressure becomes even heavier when fans already seem emotionally detached from the move.
Gave the Bravado 2 first-round picks in exchange for Angel Reese. Now, I have seen some on social media pointing out the fact that the Lakers only had to trade 1 first-round pick to get Luka Doncic. But in the WNBA, draft picks aren't nearly as valuable as they are in the NBA, since, there's not a lot of generational talent. To me, though, this is not about what the Atlanta Dreamers had to give up in order to acquire Angel Reese. This is more about the message that the Chicago Bravado sent by trading Angel Reese.
The resistance from parts of Atlanta's fan base is not just about basketball mechanics. It reflects a deeper discomfort with Reese's image itself. She plays with swagger, embraces attention, and carries herself like someone fully aware that cameras are always pointed in her direction. For her supporters, that confidence is magnetic. For her critics, it is somehow interpreted as arrogance, which says more about the critics than it does about the player. Reese has become one of those rare athletes whose style creates debate before the game even begins. That tension is exactly why the shirt sale slump feels symbolic. It is not the most dangerous part of this entire story for her doubters. Athletes who thrive under criticism often use hostility as fuel, and Reese has built much of her career turning skepticism into production. She has heard the noise before. She heard it in college. She heard it entering the WNBA. She heard it in Chicago. Every time the pattern repeats, outrage comes first, performance later.
What's up with these goofy fans saying, oh, this trade is great for her? Is it really great for her being traded out of the third year and possibly you may not get the Supermax because your own team didn't believe in you? That's not good. That's not good at all. Being traded is never a great thing, okay? It's really not. It's not, okay? So, with that said, I think Angel Reese, we'll find out what's gonna happen, but the roster is not set yet.
That is what makes Atlanta such a fascinating stage for this next chapter. Because if Reese succeeds here, it will not just redeem the trade, it will completely flip the narrative. The same move currently Makeda's a merchandising flop could become remembered as the moment the Dream transformed from playoff hopefuls into genuine contenders. The unsold shirts hanging awkwardly on racks today could become collector's items tied to the beginning of a franchise-changing era. And if it fails, the collapse will be spectacular. If chemistry breaks down, if the team underperforms, and if Reese cannot win over the crowd, then Atlanta will face the nightmare scenario every franchise fears. A superstar acquisition that generates noise without results. In that case, critics will not simply say the trade forces belief, even from reluctant fans. Angel Reese has stepped into Atlanta, carrying all the weight of those expectations, while Chicago has already moved on with the cold efficiency OFA team eager to erase yesterday's drama. And somewhere between the outrage, the skepticism, and the stubbornly quiet cash registers, one truth remains unavoidable. If Angel Reese starts winning in Atlanta, every complaint about those crashing shirt sales will suddenly sound like the funniest joke nobody wants to admit they told.